xXx, Return of Xander Cage, released as xXx, reactivated in some countries, is a 2017 American action spy film directed by DJ Caruso and written by F. Scott Fraser. The third installment in the xXx film series and a sequel to both xXx, 2002, and xXx, State of the Union, 2005, it stars Vin Diesel in the title role along with Donnie Yen, Deepika Padukone, Chris Wu, Ruby Rose, Tony Jaa, Nina Dobrev, Toni Collette, Ariadne Gutierrez, Hermione Corfield, and Samuel L. Jackson. Released on January 20, 2017, in 2D, Real D 3D and IMAX 3D by Paramount Pictures, the film received mixed reviews from critics but was commercially successful, grossing over $346 million worldwide against a production budget of $85 million and subsequently becoming both the franchise's and Revolution Studios' highest-grossing film. 7. Plot. In Brazil, a satellite that had fallen out of orbit crashes on NSA agent Augustus Gibbons, who is attempting to recruit footballer Neymar for the xXx program, seemingly killing them both. In New York City, Xiang's team infiltrates a CIA office to recover Pandora's box, a device that can crash satellites as warheads. CIA agent Jane Mark finds ex-operative Xander Cage, who faked his death and lives in the Dominican Republic. She persuades Xander to return and retrieve the device. In London, Xander enlists his old friend Ainsley's help and tracks attackers to the Philippines. At an RAF outpost in Lakenheath, a special forces unit led by Paul Donovan is assigned to assist Xander, but he rejects them for his own team: sharpshooter Adele Wolfe, DJ Harvard Nixjo, getaway driver Tennyson the Torch, and weapons expert Becky Clearidge. The team finds Xiang and his teammates Serena, Talon, and Hawk. Xander meets Xiang in an underground nightclub on a remote island, where Xiang reveals that his team are also xXx agents recruited by Gibbons. Xiang says he stole Pandora's box to prevent misuse, but Serena wanted to destroy it. Russian soldiers then raid the island. The group fights them off, while Xiang escapes with the device. Xander chases him to a nearby beach. Serena betrays Xiang, destroys the box, and joins Xander, while Xiang escapes to regroup with Talon and Hawk. After another satellite crash in the Olympic Stadium in Moscow, Mark determines that the device Serena destroyed was only a prototype. Xander discovers CIA Director Anderson is involved and possesses the actual Pandora's box. Xander's and Xiang's teams race to reach Anderson first in Detroit, tracking the unique signal emitted by Pandora's box, with Xander and Xiang reluctantly cooperate to fight Anderson's men. Xander confronts Anderson, who admits to causing the satellite crash that killed Gibbons, before Wolfe shoots him dead. Xander reluctantly allows the CIA to arrest Xiang in an attempt to frame him for the Moscow attack, and they secure the box. En route back to headquarters, Mark announces that the CIA has shuttered the program and shoots Xander to keep it for herself. She then sends a hitman squad to eliminate the others to tie up loose ends. They join forces to fend off their attackers, assisted by former xXx operative Darius Stone. Xander, saved by Becky's bulletproof vest, teams up with Xiang to fight Donovan and his men. Mark uses the box to send a satellite towards the warehouse, aiming to kill both groups. Donovan uses bionic gloves to punch equipment as Xander dodges. In a bathroom fight, Donovan punches the toilet, creating an opening for Xander to eject him. Xiang causes Mark to fall to her death and parachutes out with the box. After Serena reports Becky's failed signal stop, Xander crashes the plane into the satellite to protect everyone, then jumps out and lands safely. Xiang gives him the device, which he destroys by stomping. Darius arrives in Xander's old car, and they introduce themselves. The team attends Gibbons' funeral, where Gibbons, who faked his death and is rebuilding the program, approaches Xander, now recruiting Neymar. Gibbons compliments Xander, who chooses to stay in service. Cast: Vin Diesel as Xander Cage, an extreme athlete turned xXx field agent who was believed to have died. Donnie Yen as Xiang, a xXx agent who heads a team trying to secure Pandora's box. Deepika Padukone as Serena Unger, formerly supported Xiang. Chris Wu as Nix, full name Nicky Joe, a guy who supports Cage, he is also a DJ nicknamed The Hood. Ruby Rose as Adele Wolf, a main sharpshooter who supports Cage. Tony Jaa as Talon, supports Xiang. Nina Dobrev as Becky Clearage, former assistant of Gibbons and weapons specialist assigned by Mark to provide technical weapons and equipment support to Cage. Toni Collette as Jane Mark, CIA agent-led who brings in Cage for the job. Samuel L. Jackson as Augustus Gibbons, founder of the xXx program and also NSA field agent who originally recruited Cage. Rory McKen as Tennyson Torch, a getaway driver who supports Cage, he keeps a record of the number of times he drives a vehicle to crash into things, which reaches 200. Hermione Corfield as Ainsley, a close ally of Cage who lives in London. Tony Gonzalez as Paul Donovan, Special Forces operative working for Marcave. Michael Bisping as Hawk, supports Xiang. Ice Cube reprises his role from State of the Union as xXx agent Darius Stone. Professional footballer Niemer appears as himself. Nine Al Sapienza plays CIA Director Anderson. Nicky Jam plays Lazarus, Ariadna Gutierrez plays Lola, Sean Roberts plays Jonas, Daniel Cash plays Russian Spymaster, and Andrei Ivanko plays Red Eric. Production. Development. Following the release of xXx in 2002, director Rob Cohen revealed his plans to make it a franchise, but an anarchistic one with different settings in each film, without anyone from the original film returning except Vin Diesel as Xander Cage. Working on a sequel and planning as well a third and fourth film, Cohen had two scripts in development, one taking place in Southeast Asia and involving Malacca Strait pirates and the other taking place in Washington, D.C., and involving the United States Secret Service. Vin Diesel explained that one of the two scripts was written by Rich Wilkes and the other was written by an unnamed writer, but Wilkes' script was the one he wanted as it excited him the most. 11 However, Diesel ultimately opted out from making a second xXx film, which was titled xXx, State of the Union, due to disliking the script, feeling that it didn't feel xXx for him. 12. Although the character of Xander Cage was supposedly killed in the sequel to explain his absence, Vin Diesel announced in 2006 that he would be returning as Xander Cage in a sequel, entitled xXx, The Return of Xander Cage 13, with the character's death being retconned for the film. Initially, not only Diesel was set to return, but also Cohen. Diesel has said that the style and music will also be similar to that of the original film, more of what the fans want, with an emphasis on extreme stunts and with a heavy metal soundtrack. Joe Roth was in talks to produce. 14 According to Cohen, he has also approached Sony, and now we're writing a script with the guys who wrote Terminator 3 and Terminator Salvation. So we'll do another Xander Cage xXx. We'll bring it up to speed a bit and bring back the extreme sports guy who's drafted to be a spy. 15. On June 10, 2009, Cohen dropped out of the production, instead moving to direct the action film Medieval. On August 26, 2009, Film announced that Erickson Core would be directing and production would start in early 2010. 16. In April 2010, it was revealed that the third film would be financed by Paramount Pictures instead of Sony, and would also be shot in 3D. Meanwhile, Rob Cohen had returned as director. 17 Vin Diesel will produce, among others, while Gloria S. Borders, Scott Hemming, Rick Kidney and Vince Titino will serve as executive producers. 18. Casting. In January 2014, Vin Diesel confirmed work on a sequel tentatively titled xXx, The Return of Xander Cage. On August 23, 2015, Vin Diesel announced on his Instagram page that while I was filming xXx, guys on set called me Air Diesel. The time to return has come. Filming starts December in the Philippines. Hashtag I live for this shit. 19. On October 10, 2015, it was reported that director DJ Caruso would direct the film. 20. Diesel announced that UFC fighter Conor McGregor was cast in a role and that Jackson will be reprising his role as Gibbons. 21-22. However, in April 2016 it was announced McGregor had dropped out of his planned appearance to focus on training and the UFC. He was replaced by Michael Bisping. 23. On January 1, 2016, Twitch Film reported that Tony Jaa, Jet Li, and Deepika Padukone were cast in roles. 24. The following week, Nina Dobrev and Ruby Rose were also cast. 25. Dobrev would be playing a witty and sarcastic techie, while Padukone would play a huntress who happens to be Cage's former lover. Rose would play a sniper. 26. Andrei Ivichenko was confirmed to be another villain in the film, given that earlier reports revealed Lee to be playing an adversary as well. It was rumored that Ice Cube, who played the protagonist Darius Stone in the second film in 2005, would reprise his role. 27. Which was confirmed in January 2017. 28. On February 6, 2016, Caruso revealed on his Twitter account that Chris Wu had joined the cast. 29-30. He also added that Wu would be playing a vital character. 31-32. On February 12, 2016, reports brought in the news that Jet Li dropped out of the film and was replaced with Donnie Yen in the role of the main antagonist, Xiang. 33. On June 3, 2016, it was revealed that Brazilian footballer Neymar joined the film's cast. 34. Filming. Principal photography began on February 2, 2016, primarily at Cinespace Film Studios' Kipling Avenue facility in Toronto, Ontario. It was also filmed on location in Hamilton, Ontario. 35. Filming lasted until May 20, 2016, and also took place in Pinewood Indomina Studios, Dominican Republic, and the Philippines. 36. Music. Brian Tyler composed and wrote the film's original score alongside Robert Ledecker. 37. The film's soundtrack contains songs and remixes of various artists, including songs by Chris Wu, Nicky Jam, and Ice Cube who appear in the film. Mark Sinclair Vincent I, born July 18, 1967, known professionally as Vin Diesel, is an American actor and filmmaker. 2. One of the world's highest-grossing actors. 3. He gained prominence for portraying Dominic Dom Toretto in the Fast and Furious franchise. 4. Diesel attended Hunter College in New York City, where studies in creative writing led him to begin screenwriting. He wrote, directed, produced, and starred in the short drama film Multifacial, 1995, and his debut feature Strays, 1997. He came to prominence in the late 1990s and first became known for appearing in Steven Spielberg's Saving Private Ryan in 1998. He followed up with commercially successful films such as Boiler Room, 2000, and The Pacifier, 2005. He gained stardom as a leading action star headlining numerous franchises, including Fast and Furious, XXx, and The Chronicles of Riddick. His voice acting work includes The Iron Giant, 1999, the video games The Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay, 2004, and The Chronicles of Riddick, Assault on Dark Athena, 2009, and the voices of Groot I and Groot 2 in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU. He portrayed the characters in 6 superhero films, beginning with Guardians of the Galaxy, 2014. Diesel has reprised his role as Groot for the Disney Plus animated short series I Am Groot, 2022-2023, the television special The Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, 2022, and the animated film Ralph Breaks the Internet, 2018. He founded the production company One Race Films, where he has also served as a producer or executive producer for his star vehicles. Diesel also founded the record label Racetrack Records and video game developer Tigan Studios, providing his voice and motion capture for all of Tigan's releases. Early life. Mark Sinclair Vincent I was born on July 18, 1967. 6-7 His mother, Delores Charlene Vincent, née Sinclair, is an astrologer. 8 He was raised by his white mother and adoptive African-American father, Irving H. Vincent, an acting instructor and theater manager. 7 9 10 Diesel has stated that he is of ambiguous ethnicity. 11. His mother has Scottish roots. 12 He has never met his biological father, and has said that all I know from my mother is that I have connections to many different cultures. 13 Diesel believes that his parents' relationship would have been illegal in parts of the United States due to anti-miscegenation laws. 14. Diesel made his stage debut at age 7 when he appeared in the children's play Dinosaur Door, written by Barbara Garson. The play was produced at Theater for the New City in New York's Greenwich Village. His involvement in the play came about when he, his brother and some friends had broken into the Theater for the New City space on Jane Street with the intent to vandalize it. They were confronted by the theater's artistic director, Crystal Field, who offered them roles in the upcoming show instead of calling the police. 15 16 17 Diesel remained involved with the theater throughout adolescence, going on to attend Hunter College in New York City, where studies in creative writing led him to begin screenwriting. He dropped out of Hunter to pursue acting. 18 He has identified himself as a multifaceted actor. 19. Sinclair began going by his stage name Vin Diesel while working as a bouncer at the New York nightclub Tunnel, wanting a tougher sounding name for his occupation. Vin comes from his mother's married last name Vincent, while the surname Diesel came from his friends due to his tendency to be energetic. 20. Career. 1990 to 1999, early struggle and debut. Diesel in 2005. Diesel's first film role was as an uncredited extra in the drama film Awakenings in 1990. After several years of struggle to gain acting roles, Diesel decided to make his own short film to secure funds for his feature film debut. In 1994, he wrote, directed, produced, and starred in the short drama film Multifacial, a semi-autobiographical film which follows a struggling multiracial actor stuck in the audition process. The film was selected for screening at the 1995 Cannes Film Festival. As well as acting, Vin Diesel supported himself by working as a bouncer and telemarketer selling light bulbs. 21. In 1997, Diesel secured funds to make his first feature-length film, Strays, an urban drama in which he played a gang leader whose love for a woman inspires him to try to change his ways. Written, directed, and produced by Diesel, the film was selected for competition at the 1997 Sundance Festival, leading to an MTV deal to turn it into a series which never came to fruition. Director Steven Spielberg took notice of Diesel after seeing him in Multifacial 22 and cast him in a small role as a soldier in his 1998 Oscar-winning war film Saving Private Ryan. This marked Diesel's first major Hollywood film role. In 1999, he provided the voice of the title character in the animated film The Iron Giant. 23. 2000 to 2008, Breakthrough and Setbacks. In 2000, Diesel had a supporting role in the drama thriller Boiler Room, where he appeared alongside Giovanni Ribisi and Ben Affleck. He got his breakthrough leading role as the anti-hero Riddick in the science fiction film Pitch Black later that year. Diesel attained action hero stardom with his portrayal of Dominic Toretto in the street racing action film The Fast and the Furious, 2001, and as Xander Cage in the action thriller XXx, 2002. He turned down the chance to reprise his roles in the sequels Too Fast Too Furious, 2003, and XXx, State of the Union, 2005. 24 Instead he chose to reprise his role as Riddick in The Chronicles of Riddick, 2004, which was a box office failure considering the large budget. 25 He also voiced the character in 2 spin-off video games and the anime film The Chronicles of Riddick, Dark Fury. In a departure from his previous tough guy action hero persona, in 2005, he played a light-hearted role in the action comedy film The Pacifier, which was a box office success. 26. Diesel with the Fast 5 cast and Natalie Morales for Today in 2011. In 2006, he chose a dramatic role playing real-life mobster Jack Dinocio in Find Me Guilty. Although he received critical acclaim for his performance, 27 the film did poorly at the box office, grossing only $2 million against a budget of $13 million. 28 later that year, Diesel made a cameo appearance in The Fast and the Furious, Tokyo Drift, reprising his role from The Fast and the Furious. Diesel's main car, a Dodge Charger, from Fast and Furious. In 2007, Diesel was set to produce and star as Agent 47 in the film adaptation of the video game Hitman, but eventually pulled back and served as executive producer on the film instead. In 2008, he starred in the science fiction action thriller Babylon AD, which was a critical and box office failure. 2009, present, franchise films. Diesel returned to the Fast and Furious series, alongside most of the principal cast from the original 2001 film, in Fast and Furious, which was released in April 2009. Diesel reprised his role as Dominic Toretto in later installments of the Fast and Furious franchise, Fast 5, 2011, Fast and Furious 6, 2013, Furious 7, 2015, The Fate of the Furious, 2017, F9, 2021, and the most recent entry, Fast X, 2023. 2930 he reprised his role as Riddick in the third film of the Chronicles of Riddick series, simply titled Riddick, 2013. In August 2013, Diesel received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He voiced Groot in the 2014 Marvel Cinematic Universe film Guardians of the Galaxy. 31. In 2015, he starred in the supernatural action film The Last Witch Hunter. 32. In 2016, Diesel appeared as a supporting character in Ang Lee's war drama Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk. In 2017, Diesel also reprised his roles as Xander Cage in XXx, Return of Xander Cage 32 and Groot in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. 33. Over the course of several years, Diesel has discussed playing two separate roles within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. In November 2016, director of Guardians of the Galaxy, James Gunn, confirmed that Diesel had been in talks to play Black Agar Boltagon/Black Bolt for the planned Inhumans film, but it was turned into a television series instead without Diesel involved. Diesel reprised his role of Groot once again in the crossover films Avengers, Infinity War, 2018, and Avengers, Endgame, 2019, which combine the superhero teams of Guardians of the Galaxy and the Avengers. He has said, "I think there's gonna be a moment that we're all waiting for, and whether you know it or not, you are waiting to see Groot and the Hulk get down." 39. Diesel portrayed Valiant Comics character Bloodshot in the film of the same name 40, which released in March 2020. In September 2020, Diesel announced his venture into music, with the release of the song Feel Like I Do, produced by Kygo. 41. He debuted the song on The Kelly Clarkson Show on September 24, stating, "I am blessed that on a year that I would normally be on a movie set, and as you know, that's not possible. I've had another creative outlet. Another way to show you, or share with you, my heart." 42. Diesel will star in Riddick, Furia, the fourth installment of the Chronicles of Riddick franchise, announced in February 2023. 43. Personal life. Diesel has said he prefers to maintain his privacy regarding his personal life, stating, "I'm not gonna put it out there on a magazine cover like some other actors. I come from the Harrison Ford, Marlon Brando, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino code of silence." 44. Diesel is noted for his distinctive deep voice. He said his voice broke around age 15, giving him a mature-sounding voice on the telephone. 45, which he often uses for his acting performances. Diesel is a longtime Dungeons & Dragons fan. 46, and wrote the foreword for 30 Years of Adventure, A Celebration of Dungeons and Dragons, 2004. Canadian video game designer and developer Merritt K created the 2015 ASMR game Vin Diesel making a game of D&D just for you for him. 47 48 49 50 He has expressed his love for the Dominican Republic and how he relates to its multicultural facets. 51 He is acquainted with its former president, Leonel Fernandez, and appeared in one of Fernandez's earlier campaign advertisements. He later secured film production in the country for Los Bandoleros and Fast and Furious, both 2009. 52. Relationships. Sometime around 2001, Diesel dated his Fast and Furious co-star Michelle Rodriguez. 53 Since 2007, he has been in a relationship with Mexican model Paloma Jimenez. The couple have 3 children, 2 daughters born in April 2008 and March 2015 54-55 and a son born 2010. 56-57 The younger daughter is named in honor of his co-star and close friend Paul Walker, who died in November 2013. 58 He is also the godfather of Walker's daughter, Meadow. Diesel also shares a close friendship with Fast and Furious co-star Tyrese Gibson. 59. Legal issues. In December 2023, former assistant Asta Jonasson sued Diesel for sexual battery and retaliation. The lawsuit alleges that, in 2010 during the filming of Fast 5 in Atlanta, he brought her to his suite at the St. Regis Hotel and forced her onto his bed. Jonasson accuses him of forcibly grabbing her and groping her breasts, and kissing her chest, and trying to pull down her underwear. She further accused him of pressing her against the wall and forcing her to touch his erect penis, and then he began to masturbate. She was fired a few days later, which she believes was retaliatory, with the suit reading, "It was clear to her that she was being fired because she was no longer useful. Vin Diesel had used her to fulfill his sexual desires and she had resisted his sexual assaults." 60 The lawsuit also names Diesel's sister and production company as defendants for allegedly creating a hostile work environment and wrongfully terminating her, among other complaints. 61. On June 3, 2025, the 4 claims against Diesel filed under California's Fair Employment and Housing Act, FEHA, were dismissed due to the plaintiff missing an administrative deadline. The remaining claims were set to move forward to a jury trial in August, but were delayed and later dropped in November. Donnie Yen Chi Tan, Chinese, Jiatping, Jan 1 Zi 2 Dan 1, Pinyin, Zhenziden, born July 27, 1963, is a Hong Kong actor, filmmaker, martial artist, and action director. 3 For his accolades include 3 Golden Horse Awards and 5 Hong Kong Film Awards. He is best known for portraying Wing Chun Grandmaster Ip Man in the Ip Man film series, namely Ip Man, 2008, Ip Man 2, 2010, Ip Man 3, 2015, and Ip Man 4, the finale, 2019. He also served as a co-producer of the spin-off Master Z, Ip Man Legacy, 2018. Born in Guangdong, Yen developed an interest in martial arts at a young age, and began experimenting with various styles, including Tai Chi and other traditional Chinese martial arts. At age 18, he auditioned for action choreographer Yuen Wu-ping in Hong Kong. He landed his first starring role in the 1984 Hong Kong martial arts action film Drunken Tai Chi. He made his breakthrough role as the antagonist General Nap Lan in Once Upon a Time in China 2, 1992, opposite Jet Li's character. He appeared in several other Hong Kong kung fu films, including Iron Monkey, 1993, and Wing Chun, 1994. 5 In 1997, he starred in his directorial debut film Legend of the Wolf. Yen made his American debut in Highlander, Endgame, 2000, followed by a cameo in Blade 2, 2002. He went on to appear in the American films Shanghai Nights, 2003, Rogue One, 2016, XXx, Return of Xander Cage, 2017, Mulan, 2020, and John Wick, Chapter 4, 2023. 6. He has continued to be active in Hong Kong cinema, appearing in the well-received films Hero, 2002, SPL, Chapeau Lang, 2005, Flashpoint, 2007, 14 Blades, 2010, Wuxiat, 2011, Kung Fu Jungle, 2014, Chasing the Dragon, 2017, Enter the Fat Dragon, 2020, Raging Fire, 2021, and The Prosecutor, 2024, among others. In television, Yen portrayed fictional character Chen Zhen in the television series Fist of Fury, 1995. He reprised the role in the 2010 film Legend of the Fist, The Return of Chen Zhen. For portraying Ip Man in the Ip Man film series, 2008 to 2019, Yen is credited by many for contributing to the popularization of Wing Chun in China. 7. Alongside Kung Fu, particularly Wing Chun, Yen is also known for incorporating mixed martial arts, MMA, elements into his action choreography. Aside from his acting, in 1997, he established his own production company, Bullet Films, which choreographed the action for Western blockbusters like Blade 2, 2002, and Stormbreaker, 2006. 8. Early life. Yen was born on July 27, 1963 in Guangzhou, Guangdong, China. His mother, Baosim Mark, is a Fu-style Wudankan, internal martial arts, and Tai Chi grandmaster, while his father, Kleister Yen, was a newspaper editor. 9. When he was 2 years old, his family moved to Hong Kong and then to the United States when he was 11 years old, settling in Boston. 10. He attended Newton North High School. 11. Non-primary source needed. His younger sister, Chris Yen, is also a martial artist and actress, and appeared in the 2007 film Adventures of Johnny Tao, Rock Around the Dragon. At a young age, under the influence of his mother, Yen developed an interest in martial arts and began experimenting with various styles, including Tai Chi and other traditional Chinese martial arts. 12. At age 16, his parents sent him to Beijing to train with the Beijing Wuxia team. 12. At age 18, when Yen was returning to the United States to visit his family, he made a stop in Hong Kong, where he met and auditioned for action choreographer Yun Wuping. 12. Yen comes from a family of musicians. His mother is a soprano, in addition to being a martial arts teacher in Boston, while his father is a violinist. 13. From a young age, he was taught by his parents to play musical instruments, including the piano. 14-15. Career. Beginnings to the 1990s. Yen's first step into the film industry was when he landed his first starring role in the 1984 film Drunken Tai Chi. After filming Drunken Tai Chi and Tiger Cage, 1988, Yen made his breakthrough role as General Naplan in Once Upon a Time in China 2, 1992, which included a fight scene between his character and Wang Fei Hung, portrayed by Jet Li. 12. Yen had a starring role in the film Iron Monkey in 1993. Yen and Li appeared together again in the 2002 film Hero, where Yen played a spear, or Qiang, fighter who fought with Li's character, an unnamed swordsman. 12. The film was nominated for Best Foreign Language Film at the 2003 Academy Awards. In 1995, Yen starred as Chen Zhen in the television series Fist of Fury produced by ATV, which is adapted from the 1972 film of the same title that starred Bruce Lee as Chen Zhen. Yen reprised his role as Chen Zhen in the 2010 film Legend of the Fist, The Return of Chen Zhen, by replacing Li, who starred as Chen Zhen in the prequel film Fist of Legend, which was released in 1994. In 1997, Yen started the production company Bullet Films, and made his directorial debut 16 in Legend of the Wolf, 1997, and Ballistic Kiss, 1998, in which he played the lead character. At age 34, Yen almost went bankrupt. Films produced by his own production company and directed by him were critically acclaimed but did not do well at the box office. Yen was forced to borrow money from loan sharks and his production crew to get by. 2000s, breakthrough success. Yen in Seoul in 2005. Yen went back to the United States, where he was invited to choreograph fight scenes in Hollywood films, such as Highlander, Endgame, 2000, and Blade 2, 2002. His choreography and skills impressed the directors, and they invited him for cameo appearances in both films. 17 in 2002, Lee was filming Hero and insisted to director Jang Yoomoo that he wanted Yen to play the role of Sky, his adversary, due to Yen's martial arts ability. Lee personally invited Yen back from Hollywood to star in the film, marking the second time the two actors appeared on screen together since Once Upon a Time in China 10 years earlier back in 1992. 18 in 2003, Yen portrayed antagonist Wu Chao opposite Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson in Shanghai Nights. Yen choreographed most of the fight animation in the 2004 video game Onimusha 3, which featured actors Takeshi Kaneshiro and Jean Reno. Yen continued to be active in Hong Kong cinema in the 2000s, starring as Chu Zayanan in Sui Hark's wuxia epic film Seven Swords, and as Ma Kun in Wilson Yip's brutal crime drama film SPL, Chapeau Lang in 2005. Both films were featured at the 2005 Toronto International Film Festival. Later that year, Yen co-starred with Nicholas Tse and Shan Yu in Wilson Yip's Dragon Tiger Gate, an adaptation of Wang Yuklong's manhua series Oriental Heroes. Yen worked as action choreographer in Stormbreaker, starring Alex Pettyfer. Yen continued to work with Wilson Yip in Flashpoint, 2007, in which he starred as the lead character and served as producer and action choreographer for the film. He won the award for Best Action Choreography at the Golden Horse Film Awards and the Hong Kong Film Awards for his performance in Flashpoint. In 2008, Yen starred in Ip Man, a semi-biographical account of Ip Man, the Wing Chun master of Bruce Lee. Ip Man marked Yen's fourth collaboration with director Wilson Yip, reuniting him with his co-stars in SPL, Chapeau Lang, Sammo Hung and Simon Yam. Ip Man became the biggest box office hit to date, featuring Yen in the leading role, grossing $25 million in Hong Kong and 100 million yuan in China. 1920. 2010s. Yen at the New York Film Festival in 2012. In 2010, Ip Man 2 was released. Similar to the first film, it was directed by Wilson Yip. In August 2011, while Yen was on a vacation with his family in the United States, he reportedly received an invitation by producer Avi Lerner to star in The Expendables 2. It was stated that Yen was considering the offer, had many films at hand, and would wait until deciding whether the script appealed to him. 21 later on, Yen revealed to the Hong Kong media that he had rejected the role. 22 in 2011, Yen revealed that he was venturing into other genres of films and had taken up 2 comedy roles in a row, in All's Well, Ends Well 2011 and All's Well, Ends Well 2012, and would be working with Karina Lau in the former and Sandra Ng in the latter. Both films were critical and box office successes. Yen took a 6-month break in the second half of 2011 after the filming of The Monkey King, where he portrayed the title character and main protagonist's son Wukong, replacing Lee once again, in which the film was released during the Chinese New Year period in January 2014-23-24. He explained that he wanted to spend more time with his family and be with his children more as they grew up. In 2012, Yen returned to the movie industry and commenced the filming of Special ID, in which he played the main lead, an undercover cop, and also took on the role of action choreographer. In 2013, it was reported that Yen would be playing the lead role for Iceman, a sci-fi action film dealing with time travel and which was filmed in 3D. Yen confirmed that MMA would be used in both of the aforementioned films. 25. In February 2013, the Weinstein Company confirmed that it had purchased the rights to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Sword of Destiny and contacted Yen to play the male lead. In March 2013, Hong Kong magazines surfaced photos of Harvey and Bob Weinstein traveling to Hong Kong to meet with Yen and persuade him to accept the offer. It was reported that Yen was considering the role and quoted as saying, "The first is that my schedule this year is very packed. The second is that the first film is already such a classic. I am afraid of the pressure, that the original cannot be surpassed." 26. In May 2013, during the annual Cannes Film Festival, the Weinstein Company announced that Yen would play the lead role of Silent Wolf in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Sword of Destiny, alongside leading female action star Michelle Yeoh reprising her role as Yu Shulin, and with director Yoon Woo-ping, Yen's mentor. It was revealed that the movie would be filmed in both English and Mandarin to appeal to the international market. 27. It was revealed during the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon 2 press conference that the Weinstein Company had obtained rights to Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai, was planning a remake and was negotiating with Yen, George Clooney, and Zhang Ziyi to star in the film. 28-29 Yen declined the offer due to scheduling conflicts for the filming of Ip Man 3. Yen earned $220 million, $28.4 million US, from 4 films and 6 advertisements in 2013. 30. In late March 2015, Ip Man 3 was announced. Yen reprised his role as the titular character Ip Man, Bruce Lee's Wing Chun master. Retired boxer and former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson was confirmed to join the cast. 31 Yen mentioned that he was a big fan of Tyson, watched many of his professional boxing bouts, and was excited to work with him. Tyson stated during a press conference that he was a huge fan of Yen and has watched Ip Man and Ip Man 2 more than 3 times each and was honored to be invited for the final installment of the trilogy. 32 Principal photography for Ip Man 3 began on March 25, 2015, and the finished film was released in December 2015 in parts of Asia and around the world in early 2016 to generally favorable reviews. Yen in February 2018. In 2016, Yen co-starred in the Star Wars anthology film Rogue One as Chirrut Imwe, the Zatoichi-like blind transient warrior. 33 On February 12, 2016, it was confirmed that Yen would once again replace Lee for the 3rd time as Xiang in the upcoming action film XXX, Return of Xander Cage, after Legend of the Fist, The Return of Chen Zhen in 2010 and The Monkey King in 2014. 34-35 Non-primary source needed. 36-37 For the promotion of XXX, Return of Xander Cage, Paramount focused marketing efforts on Yen in China and most parts of Asia, placing him at the front of the film posters ahead of Vin Diesel, and shared clips and reviews of Yen's performance in the movie on the popular Chinese social media site Weibo. 38 Paramount's efforts worked very well in China. The film was number 1 in its opening weekend with $61.90 million 39 and crossed the $100 million mark in just 6 days with $22.2 million coming from Valentine's Day alone after rave reviews praising Yen's performance swept through Chinese social media, driving moviegoers to the cinema. 40-41 Yen's performance in both Rogue One and XXX, Return of Xander Cage received positive responses from critics and general audiences. For XXX, Return of Xander Cage, media outlets praised Yen's performance. 42-43 In the case of Rogue One, Yen's performance was applauded by audiences worldwide. In a poll on the Star Wars webpage, in which more 40,000 people voted, Yen's character Chirrut Imwe was voted as audience's favorite Rogue One character. 44. While Yen was filming XXX, Return of Xander Cage in Canada, he received offers from Hollywood studios and directors. At the same time, Hong Kong director Wong Jing personally flew to Canada to invite Yen to star in his film Chasing the Dragon, a remake of the film to be number 1. Yen eventually accepted the offer and played a non-traditional role of a villain with limited fighting scenes and the opportunity to work alongside Andy Lau. In September 2017, Chasing the Dragon was released with positive reviews from critics, citing Yen's versatility as an actor and his portrayal of Ng Sek Ho, the main character of the film. 45 Chasing the Dragon was a hit with audiences in most parts of Asia. In Hong Kong, Chasing the Dragon is ranked as one of the top 5 Hong Kong films in 2017. 46. In 2017, Yen received a call from Lee and Alibaba CEO Jack Ma about a potential collaboration on a short martial arts film known as Gong Xiao Dao, to promote a new form of Tai Chi as an Olympic sport in the future. 47 Yen was on holiday with his wife to celebrate their anniversary, but cancelled his plans to take part in the film. Yen declined any salary for this participation for GSD, as he stated that friendship is not measured by money and that he hopes his participation can help promote Chinese martial arts to worldwide audiences. In return, Lee and Ma surprised Yen and his wife Sissy by helping to celebrate their wedding anniversary on the set. The full GSD 20 minutes short film was released on November 11th, China's Singles Day, debuting on Youku and Lee's official Facebook page, garnering a total of more than 100 million views worldwide. 48 non-primary source needed netizens in China praised Yen's speed and technique in the film, with most audiences, over 190,000, voting Yen as the highlight of the short film. 49 In late 2017, Yen began filming Big Brother, a mixed martial arts film where Yen plays a high school teacher with unconventional methods and a dark past. 50. In 2017, a live-action film adaptation of the video game Sleeping Dogs was announced, with Yen playing the lead character Wei Shen. 51 In February 2018, Yen confirmed the continued production of the film through social media. 52 In 2019, Yen reprised his role as Ip Man in Ip Man 4, the finale. During the Hong Kong protests of that year, protesters urged a boycott of the film, citing the pro-Beijing stances of Yen, co-star Danny Chan, and producer Raymond Wong. 53 The film was a box office success, grossing over 3 times its budget of $52 million 54.55 and becoming the highest grossing Chinese film of all time in Malaysia, as well as the 3rd highest grossing Chinese film in North America in 5 years. 56-57. 2020s. In March 2020, as part of the press tour for Disney's live-action remake of Mulan, when Yen was asked by reporters whether he was interested in appearing in a superhero film, Yen revealed that he had been offered a role in Warner Bros. Justice League and Aquaman films by Zack Snyder, but turned it down due to scheduling conflicts. The role offered was that of Nuitas Fuko, which eventually went to Willem Dafoe. 58 Yen joined the cast of John Wick, Chapter 4, which was released in March 2023. Yen and the film both received positive reviews from critics. 59 In May 2024, it was reported that Yen would star in a John Wick spin-off movie around his assassin character Kane. 66 In April 2025, the Kane spin-off was confirmed at Cinemacon to be pushing through, with Yen also directing and Mattson Tomlin writing the script. 61 And the title of the spin-off movie is revealed to be simply known as Kane, and filming began in Europe in April 2026, and will continue in Hong Kong in late June 2026. 62-63. Martial arts history, style, and philosophy. Yen has exemplified his aptitude, expertise, and skill in an array of combat and martial arts disciplines, being well versed in Tai Chi, boxing, kickboxing, Jeet Kune Do, Hapkido, mixed martial arts, Taekwondo, Karate, Muay Thai, amateur wrestling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Hung Jie, Sanda, Judo, Shaolin Kung Fu, Wudaikan, Wing Chun, and Wushu. 64. Yen describes himself as a mixed martial artist. 3. He learned Shaolin Kung Fu and Wudaikan at a young age under his mother's tutelage. 65-66 He then wanted to learn Taekwondo in his teenage years, earning a 6th Dan in the process. At the time, the Beijing Wushu team had a scout in the United States and invited Yen over to Beijing, China, where he began training at the Beijing Sports Institute, the same facility where champion-turned-actor Jet Li trained. This is where the two of them crossed paths for the first time. Upon his return to the United States, Yen won gold medals in various wushu competitions. 67. Over the course of his life, Yen embarked on a quest to explore and acquire expertise in various other forms of martial arts disciplines. He obtained black and purple belts in Judo and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, respectively, and went on to study parkour, wrestling, Muay Thai, kickboxing, and boxing under various instructors. His exposure to the combat sport mixed martial arts, MMA, was heightened when he went back to the United States from 2000 to 2003. While making his Hollywood debut, he also took time off to learn the various martial arts forms in preparation for subsequent and future film roles. 68-69 Yen's progress was evident when he returned to the East Asian film industry, where he implemented his newfound knowledge of MMA, showcased in films such as SPL, Chapeau Lang, 2005, Flashpoint, 2007, and Special ID, 2013. Near the end of 2007, Yen added a new martial arts system to his arsenal. He was offered the role of Wing Chun Grandmaster and mentor of film star Bruce Lee, Ip Man, in a 2008 film named after the Grandmaster. He worked hard and studied Wing Chun under Ip Man's eldest son, Ip Chun, for 9 months before tackling the role. 70 Ip Chun has since praised Yen for his effort, his skills as a martial artist, and his ability to grasp the full concept of Wing Chun much faster than anyone else he has taught. 71 With the huge success of the Ip Man films both critically and commercially, Yen has been credited by many for contributing to the popularization of Wing Chun in China. 72-7. Yen believes that combining many martial arts together produces the most effective and harmonious style. Yen has said, "When you watch my films, you're feeling my heart." 73. He believes in practical combat, and in his opinion, MMA is the most authentic type of practical combat. 74. Yen was a rebel in his youth due to the huge expectations and pressures from his parents, as his mother is the founder of the Chinese Wushu Research Institute in Boston, and his father was a scholar and a musician. 75. Other martial arts film stars like Jackie Chan and Jet Li have stated that Yen may be the best fighter in terms of practical combat in East Asian cinema. 76-77. World-class fighters, such as former Strikeforce middleweight champion Kung Le and former world boxing heavyweight champion Mike Tyson, who have worked with Yen in the films Bodyguards and Assassins and Ip Man 3, respectively, have both claimed that Yen is an incredible martial artist and would do well in authentic combat. 78 While filming Ip Man 3, crew members were worried that Tyson, who had been a professional boxer, would accidentally injure Yen. However, it was ultimately Yen who fractured Tyson's finger while using his elbow to block Tyson's punches. 79 Tyson insisted on finishing the scene before he was treated in hospital. 80. In 2019, he was inducted into the Martial Arts History Museum Hall of Fame. 81. Action choreography. Yen was considered one of the premier action choreographers in the world, having been invited by Hollywood to choreograph blockbusters such as Blade 2, Highlander, Endgame, and Shanghai Nights. Throughout the East Asian cinematic universe, he remained the principal action choreographer for most of his movies and has won multiple awards for his action choreography. Yen's most famous works include films such as Flashpoint and SPL, Chapeau Lang. He has mentioned that the main differences in East Asian styles of filmmaking and Hollywood are with regards to freedom and control. In the East Asian film industry, the action choreographer takes over the scene during the fight scene. This means that for action scenes filmed in East Asia, the choreographer becomes the director and is in full control over camera placements, camera angles, and the relationship between the drama and the action, therefore the main director is not needed at all. While in Hollywood, on the other hand, Yen explains that the action choreographer simply choreographs the actions with the director, who still maintains full control of such settings and camera angles. 82. Yen's work as a choreographer won him the Hong Kong Film Award for Best Action Choreography at the 27th Hong Kong Film Awards and the Golden Horse Award for Best Action Choreography at the 2008 and 2011 Golden Horse Awards. Yen was the fight choreographer for the 2010 film Legend of the Fist, The Return of Chen Zhen. For this film, Yen mentioned that he included Jeet Kune Do elements as a tribute to the American actor and martial artist Bruce Lee, who played Chen Zhen in the 1972 film Fist of Fury. 83. Furthermore, he incorporated many MMA elements in the film, coupled with the use of Wing Chun. Yen also stated that the concept behind Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do is similar to that of MMA, hence the incorporation of many forms of martial arts was a necessity in the film. 84. He won the Hong Kong Film Award for Best Action Choreography 4 times, being one of the most frequent winners of this coveted award. He has won awards for his choreography in films such as The Twins Effect, SPL, Chapeau Lang, Flashpoint, and Kung Fu Jungle. 85. Bodybuilding and transformation for roles. Donnie Yen regaining his physique in 2016 for XXx, Return of Xander Cage, after losing weight for Ip Man 3 and Rogue One. Yen is renowned for his physical fitness, strength, and speed achieved through his use of a strict and disciplined fitness regime. 86. However, despite his muscular build, Yen has gained attention for his dedication to his roles and for the lengths to which he goes to achieve the physical build and appearance of the characters he plays. In 2007, Yen lost over 14 kilograms, 30 pounds, to reach the weight of 54 kilograms, 120 pounds, to better portray the slender Ip Man and the techniques of Wing Chun, which focuses on techniques and not strength. 87. He did so through a very strict regimen of limiting himself to a plain diet consisting mainly of vegetables. 88. In 2010, still fresh off Ip Man 2, Yen was cast as Chen Zhen in Legend of the Fist, The Return of Chen Zhen, who was originally portrayed by Bruce Lee. He had to regain his muscular physique for the role and took 6 months through a precise and dedicated diet routine. 89. He maintained this bulk and physique while filming The Lost Bladesman, in which he plays Guan Yu, a Chinese general known for his size and spear fighting abilities. 90. In 2015, Yen reduced his muscular physique yet again to reprise the role of Ip Man in Ip Man 3 and for his role as the blind warrior monk Chirrut Imwe in Rogue One. 91. For his role as Xiang in XXx, Return of Xander Cage opposite Vin Diesel, Yen rebuilt his physique. 92. Non-primary source needed. Personal life. Yen met his first wife, Hong Kong advertising executive Lung Xingci, Chinese, in 1990. They began dating in 1990. After 3 years of dating, they married secretly in the United States in November 1993. The marriage ended in less than a year. After their divorce was finalized, Lung realized that she was pregnant with their son, who was born in 1995. 93-94. Yen married former beauty queen Sissy Wang after 3 months of dating in 2003. The couple have 2 children. 93. Yen became a U.S. citizen in 1974 but renounced it in 2010 to become a Hong Kong citizen again. 1-2. Philanthropic work. In 2012, Yen and his wife Sissy co-founded Go.Asia, an online charity platform encouraging people to participate in charity work and serve local communities. 95. In October 2014, Yen was invited to be a guest speaker in front of a crowd of 20,000 youths for We Day Vancouver, where he spoke about the hardships he faced growing up and how he overcame difficulties. 96. In 2015, Yen visited refugee camps in Thailand, bringing donations and gifts for the refugees. 97. Yen is an ambassador for the international charity Save the Children. In December 2015, Yen established a charitable fund, Yen's Honor Protection Fund, with the purpose of empowering celebrities to use the law to defend their honor and reputation. Yen said the fund seeks to assist and render help to everyone who needs it, most importantly to heal and repair the hearts and dignities which have been affected. This fund was established after Yen won a lawsuit against Gen Weiguo, aka Tan Bing, who defamed Yen and hired netizens to threaten Yen's family. 98. In February 2020, in light of the coronavirus pandemic in China and the rest of the world, Yen stepped in to donate $1 million to frontline medical workers in Wuhan. He also produced and dedicated a short clip to thank all medical workers in China in their fight against the coronavirus. The clip was uploaded on Chinese social media site Weibo, where Yen has over 11 million followers. He donated a painting done by himself and his 2 children, to the frontline medical workers. 99. Politics. In 2023, Yen was appointed to the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, CPPCC, as a representative of the literature and arts sector, replacing outgoing fellow action star Jackie Chan. 100. He stated that he was a Chinese patriot and requested that his film roles in Hollywood must positively represent the Chinese. 101. Yen said of the 2019 to 2020 Hong Kong protests that it wasn't a protest, it was a riot. Ruby Rose Langenheim, born March 20, 1986, is an Australian actress, television presenter, and model. She gained prominence for her role in Season 3 of the Netflix series Orange is the New Black, 2015 to 2016, and for portraying Kate Kane/Batwoman in the Arrowverse television franchise, including Season 1 of the series Batwoman, 2019 to 2020. As a presenter, Rose hosted MTV Australia, 2007 to 2011, before taking on several high-profile modeling gigs, including working with Maybelline New York in Australia. She also co-hosted various television shows, such as Australia's Next Top Model, 2009, and The Project, 2009 to 2011. She made her film debut with a small role in Around the Block, 2013. She later appeared in action films such as Resident Evil, The Final Chapter, 2016, XXx, Return of Xander Cage, 2017, and John Wick, Chapter 2, 2017. Rose also co-starred in the musical comedy Pitch Perfect 3, 2017, and the monster film The Meg, 2018. Early life. Ruby Rose Langenheim was born in Melbourne on 20 March 1986 to the daughter of 20-year-old single mother Katja Langenheim. 3-4 She is the great-granddaughter of German actress Ellen Bang, 1906 to 1981, and Australian soldier Alec Campbell, 1899 to 2002, who became known as the last Australian survivor of the Battle of Gallipoli and lived to the age of 103. 5 As a young child, she travelled frequently, living in rural Victoria, Tasmania, and Surfers Paradise before finally settling back in Melbourne. 6 She attended University High School and Footscray City College. 7. Career. Modelling and fashion. Rose first joined the Girlfriend model search in 2002, for which she came in second to Catherine McNeil. 5 In 2010, she collaborated with the Australian fashion label Milk and Honey to design a capsule fashion line. The collection, named Milk and Honey, designed by Ruby Rose 8, includes washed jeans, leather jackets, and t-shirts. The clothing line was available in selected retailers in Australia. Rose also released a collaboration collection with street footwear brand Galaz. In 2014, Rose began collaborating with Phoebe Dahl for their clothing range Faircloth Lane. She has featured predominantly within mainstream fashion titles, including Vogue Australia, InStyle magazine, Marie Claire magazine, Clio, Cosmopolitan, Maxim, Nylon and New York's Inc. magazine. She's been the Australian ambassador for JVC, Australian clothes company Jag, and luxury Danish label Georg Jensen. Rose is the face of Maybelline New York in Australia. Since March 2016, Rose has been the face of Urban Decay Cosmetics. 9. In March 2017, Rose starred in Nike's latest campaign Kiss My Ears, celebrating its Air Max Day. 10 In May, Rose was the face of Swarovski Urban Fantasy FW17 collection launch. 11. VJ career and television personality. In order to land her job as an MTV VJ in Australia, Rose competed against 2,000 other hopefuls in a 3-week national search, as former VJ Lindsay Rodriguez moved to the United States to co-host TRL 5. As part of the competition, she downed 100 shots of beer in 100 minutes against Jackass's Bam Margera, and kissed strangers on a busy Sydney street. 5. She stated, "Being a model, there is always something they want to change. Whether they want someone a little bit skinnier, a little bit taller, a little bit prettier, but MTV wants you to be yourself, not censoring anything and not conforming to anything." 5. In 2009, Rose won the Astra Award for Favorite Female Personality. 12. She also traveled to Kenya to highlight the amazing work done by Global Vision International. 6. She appeared in the episode Media Virgins, of Australia's Next Top Model, acting as a guest judge. 13. And also worked as a correspondent for the finale of Australia's Next Top Model. 14. In July 2009, Rose along with Dave Hughes, Charlie Pickering, Carrie Bickmore, and James Matheson hosted the 7 p.m. Project, an Australian television news talk show produced by Roving Enterprises which aired weeknights on Network 10. 15. She left the program to pursue her own hosting projects. In October 2009, it was announced that Fox 8 had picked up the rights to UK format Ultimate School Musical 16, which features ordinary teenagers from a school attempting to put on a music production to a professional standard in just 6 weeks. The Australian version was produced by Fremantle Media Australia with Rose as host. 17. And aired in 2010. Rose also hosted the Foxtel Mardi Gras for 3 consecutive years before becoming an official correspondent for Foxtel for the 2010 Winter Olympics. In October 2015, Rose hosted the 2015 MTV Europe Music Awards alongside Ed Sheeran in Milan. Acting career. 2008 to 2014, early work. Rose in 2012. Rose was selected in 2008 to act in the Australian comedy film Sweet for Fleur. 1819. In 2009, she appeared on the first episode of Talkin' About Your Generation, representing Generation M alongside comedian Josh Thomas. 20. She also appeared alongside Christina Ricci and Jack Thompson in the 2013 film Around the Block. Rose credits her 2014 short film Break Free, which she produced herself, for the success of her acting career. In an interview with Variety, she described how she was not able to get a manager, agent, or audition, so she decided to create short films as a way of being able to give myself something to do and to study my craft. The film went viral, getting millions of views in a short period of time. 21. 2015 to 2018, Orange is the New Black and film stardom. In 2015, Rose joined the Orange is the New Black cast in Season 3. Rose played inmate Stella Carlin, whose sarcastic sense of humor and captivating looks quickly draw the attention of some of Litchfield's inmates. 22-23. Rose's performance was generally well received by the public. 24. She was also cast in a guest role, as the service robot Wendy, in the science fiction series Dark Matter. 25. Rose and Tom Felton lent their voices to the animated title Sheep and Wolves, with Rose as fiancée Bianca. Citation needed. In 2016 and 2017, Rose appeared in 3 action film sequels, XXX, Return of Xander Cage, alongside Vin Diesel, Resident Evil, The Final Chapter as Abigail, and John Wick, Chapter 2, alongside Keanu Reeves. She also played a musical rival in the comedy Pitch Perfect 3, which was released in December 2017. 26. Rose co-starred in the Warner Brothers film The Meg, a shark epic based on the novel of the same name, alongside Jason Statham. The film was released on August 10, 2018. 27. 2019 to 2020, Batwoman and Departure. On August 7, 2018, it was reported that Rose had been cast as Batwoman in an Arrowverse crossover. 28 Her role as Kate Kane has been noted as the first openly lesbian lead superhero in television. 29 Batwoman aired on the CW on October 6, 2019. 30 Rose's casting as Batwoman was met by backlash and criticism on social media. 3132 DC Comics, which owns the rights to the longtime comic book superheroine Batwoman, reintroduced the character in 2006 as a lesbian of Jewish descent. Some online commentators criticized Rose for not being Jewish, while the main focus of the scrutiny was the assertion that the fact she identifies as gender fluid made her not gay enough for the role. 31 Rose quit Twitter and deactivated public commenting on her Instagram account following the backlash. 31 Prior to leaving Twitter, she released a tweet responding to the negative reaction, stating, "Where on earth did Ruby is not a lesbian, therefore she can't be Batwoman come from, has to be the funniest, most ridiculous thing I've ever read." 33. Rose called for unity between women and minorities, imploring women and the LGBT community to be kinder and more supportive of each other. 31-33. In Entertainment Weekly's 2019 LGBTQ special issue, Rose additionally discussed the backlash to her casting as the title character of the television series Batwoman. 34 She said the opportunity to audition for Orange is the New Black came about because the show wanted to have a gender-neutral character, but that she has also received criticism because of her gender-fluid identity, adding, "When I got cast as a lesbian in Batwoman, I didn't know that being a gender-fluid woman meant that I couldn't be a lesbian because I'm not a woman, not considered lesbian enough." She said that while her initial response was dismissive, she later considered if there was a way to remedy the situation so that others would not be offended by her identity, and pondered making up a term that does not offend people and would indicate that she is fluid in her gender, but also a lesbian. 34. On May 19, 2020, Rose departed Batwoman after the first season, and initially gave no definitive reason behind her departure. 35 Her character was subsequently written out of the series and replaced with a new one named Ryan Wilder, portrayed by Javicia Leslie. 36 Rose later said she suffered an injury during the production of the first season. 37 In August 2020, she called being the lead of a series taxing and stated her back surgery following the injury was a contributing factor in deciding to leave. 38 In a March 2021 interview with comicbookmovie.com, when asked if she would reprise Kate at some point, Rose said, "I would totally do it. I don't think it would serve the story because I think building the new Batwoman is more important than going back too far into Kate Kane, but of course I would." She added, "I've watched a couple of episodes, and I think how they're handling it is beautiful. I think it's Ryan Wilder's time to shine." 39. Later that same month, English actress Wallis Day was cast as Kate Kane, as the show's story involved Kate receiving surgical alteration to her face after an airplane crash left her injured. 40 Rose, commenting on an Instagram tribute to her time in the role, said she was stoked about Day's casting. 41. In July 2021, Rose said she was allergic to latex, which was another reason for leaving Batwoman as her character's mask was made of latex. 42 A few months later, in October, she began to publish allegations of an abusive and dangerous working environment on the Batwoman set, naming Warner Brothers executive Peter Roth, co-stars Dougray Scott and Camrus Johnson, and others on the production as responsible parties. 43 44 45 However, in response, Johnson stated that Rose had not quit but had been fired from Batwoman 46, with Warner Brothers then releasing a statement responding to the accusations, saying that Warner Brothers Television had decided not to exercise its option to engage Ruby for Season 2 after multiple complaints about her workplace behavior. 47. 2020, present. On May 22, 2020, Rose portrayed Viola in a live-stream table read of Twelfth Night as part of a benefit to raise money for COVID-19 pandemic relief. 48A. She was also set to star in the action comedy Three Sisters. 49. In November 2021, Rose took a sabbatical from Hollywood to return to her native Australia. 50. Music and charity work. In February 2012, Rose released her first single Guilty Pleasure with Gary Go. In November 2016, she released and directed the Veronica single On Your Side. 51. She is a supporter of many charities, won a charity boxing match 52 and has traveled to Laos and Africa to volunteer each year. Issues of concern to Rose include animal welfare, campaigns for anti-bullying and youth mental health, where she works as an ambassador for Headspace. Known for being extensively tattooed, she showed off her tattoos in a photo spread for Maxim Australia and PETA, as part of the campaign I'd rather go naked than wear fur. 53-54. Personal life. Rose came out as a lesbian at age 12. 55-56. She has said that she was bullied both verbally and physically by her male peers because of her sexuality and gender variance. 57-58. She has also stated that she was sexually abused as a child by a relative. 59. She experienced suicidal thoughts and attempted suicide at age 12. 55-57. She has struggled with mental health issues throughout her life, having attempted suicide multiple times, and has been diagnosed with complex post-traumatic stress disorder and clinical depression, initially misdiagnosed as bipolar disorder. 60. Rose has said that she was convinced she was a boy while growing up, and that she was saving up money to physically transition from female to male. 58-61. She said, "It was in my mind as something I wanted to do and then I just didn't. I guess I grew out of it. I even used to sleep on my front because I didn't want to get boobs ever, which I think worked actually." 61. She later said she is glad she did not undergo gender-affirming surgery because she wants to have children one day. 56. She has said that modeling led her to discover androgyny and allowed her to model with different gender expressions. "I remember being at a Yum Cha restaurant with my dad and the owner coming up and saying, 'Excuse me, we're trying to work out if you're a handsome boy or a beautiful girl.' It was a compliment and I was shocked, and when I thought about it I actually wanted to be a handsome boy." 62. Rose said in 2015, "I am very gender fluid and feel more like I wake up every day sort of gender neutral." 63-64. This announcement came approximately a week after she released Break Free, in which she visually transforms from a feminine-presenting woman to a heavily tattooed masculine-presenting person. She stated that she prefers to continue using feminine pronouns 65 but also uses they/them pronouns. 66. She said that if she had to choose a sex, she would choose to be male, but she does not feel like she should have been born with different body parts. Seeing the desire her transgender friends had for transitioning, she asked herself if her need to transition matched theirs, and concluded that it did not. "I think at this stage I will stay a woman, but who knows? I'm so comfortable right now, I feel wonderful about it, but I also fluctuate a lot." 58. Rose is a vegan 67 and supports the Geelong Cats of the Australian Football League. 68. Rose dated the Veronica singer Jessica Arigliasso in 2008. 69. She was engaged to fashion designer Phoebe Dahl from 2014 until they ended their relationship in December 2015. 70-71. She rekindled her relationship with Arigliasso from October 2016 to April 2018. 72. In 2019, Rose underwent emergency spinal surgery to treat two herniated discs caused by performing her own stunts on the set of Batwoman and revealed she would have been at risk of paralysis without the surgery. 73. In April 2026, on Threads, Rose accused Katy Perry of sexually assaulting her in the Spice Market nightclub in Melbourne nearly 2 decades earlier. 74. In the media. Rose at Australian Fashion Week in 2012. Various media outlets have commented on public fascination with Rose's gender identity, gender expression, and physical appearance, including her tattoos and visual or behavioral similarities to Angelina Jolie, Justin Bieber, and a younger Leonardo DiCaprio. 75, 76, 77 In 2008 and 2009, she was chosen as one of the 25 most influential gay and lesbian Australians by Same, an Australian online gay and lesbian community. 78 The public and media attention increased following Rose's debut on Orange is the New Black, significantly with regard to heterosexual women commenting on her physical appearance. 75-79 During 2015, she was the 5th most searched person on Google. 80 Peyton named her one of 3 sexiest vegans of 2017. 81. Emmett Eitel of McLean stated, Rose resembles an androgynous Angelina Jolie. She is a rare combination of angular and soft. She is a badass with a permanently arched brow and a Justin Bieber haircut. In other words, she is the lesbian James Dean. And straight women are falling madly in love with her. 79. Alex Rees of Cosmopolitan said that everyone was enamored of Rose at the time of her season 3 appearance on Orange is the New Black. 82-79. Rose acknowledged the public discourse concerning her physical appearance and subsequent debate on sexual fluidity after heterosexual women said they would go gay for her. 79 Commenting that while she thought it was brilliant and was neutral on the matter, some found the public affection toward her inappropriate because they believe it implied people can choose to be gay. Rose said she believes people are being complimentary when making such comments rather than trying to be derogatory or diminish the coming out process. She said today's society is more open about sexuality than in the past and that people should not nitpick who can or cannot identify as genderqueer, gender neutral, bisexual or trans, or tell them how to live their lives, and that this is a message the LGBT community should be supporting. Hermione Isla Coningham Corfield 3, born December 19, 1993, is an English actress. She starred in the films Rust Creek, 2018, Sea Fever, 2019, The Misfits, 2021, and The Road Dance, 2022. Her other films include Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation, 2015, xXx, Return of Xander Cage, 2017, and Star Wars, The Last Jedi, 2017. On television, she is known for her roles in the ITV period drama The Halcyon, 2017, and the Alibi series We Hunt Together, 2020 to 2022. Early life. Corfield was born in London, the daughter of Richard Coningham Corfield, of the Corfield family of Chadwell Hall, Shropshire 4 and German street shirt designer Emma Willis. 5-6 Corfield attended Downhouse School 7 in Cold Ash, a village near Newbury, Berkshire. Corfield studied English literature at University College London before taking a method acting course at the Lee Strasberg Theatre and Film Institute in New York. 8-9. Career. Corfield made her film debut in 2014 with Colton's Big Night, a segment in the movie 50 Kisses, directed by Sebastian Solberg, where she plays a character named Anna. 10 In 2015, she starred alongside Ian McKellen and Laura Linney in Mr. Holmes, and appeared in Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation opposite Tom Cruise. She also worked with Penelope Cruz in an advertisement campaign for Schweppes. 11 In 2014, she was cast in Fallen as Gabrielle Gibbons. 12 In 2016, she appeared in Pride and Prejudice and Zombies as Cassandra. In 2017, she appeared in the film xXx, Return of Xander Cage alongside Vin Diesel, the Guy Ritchie directed King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, and in Star Wars, The Last Jedi as Tali Lintra, a Resistance A-Wing pilot and squadron leader. 13 She also starred in the ITV drama The Halcyon as Emma Garland. 14. She starred in the 2017 film Bees Make Honey and in the 2018 British comedy film Slaughterhouse Rulez, along with Asa Butterfield, Finn Cole, Michael Sheen, Nick Frost, and Simon Pegg. Corfield received acclaim from critics for her performance in Rust Creek, which was released in cinemas on January 4, 2019. She played one of the central characters in the 2020 TV series We Hunt Together. 15. In February 2024, it was announced that Corfield had been cast as Julia Morriston in the Outlander prequel series Outlander, Blood of My Blood. Michael Gavin Joseph Bispian / born February 28, 1979, is an English 5 sports commentator, analyst, actor, and former mixed martial artist. He competed in the middleweight and light heavyweight divisions of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC. A professional competitor from 2004 to 2017, he held the UFC middleweight title, the Cage Rage light heavyweight title, and won the light heavyweight tournament of the Ultimate Fighter 3. At UFC 78, Bisping became the first British fighter to compete in a UFC main event. In 2013, he became legally blind in his right eye after fighting Vitor Belfort, in which a fight-ending head kick had left Bisping with a detached retina. 3 years later, Bisping won the UFC middleweight title by knocking out Luke Rockhold at UFC 199, becoming the first British fighter to win a UFC championship. 6-7 He defended his title against Dan Henderson at UFC 204, but lost it to Georges St-Pierre the following year at UFC 217. After his knockout loss to Kelvin Gastelum 3 weeks later, Bisping retired from the sport. He was inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame on July 5, 2019. 8. Bisping has also embarked on an acting career, starring in films such as XXx, Return of Xander Cage, 2017, Triple Threat, 2019, and Red Sonja. He also portrayed Roy Shaw in the British sports drama film My Name is Lenny, 2017. On television, he has appeared in series such as Strike Back, Twin Peaks, MacGyver, Magnum P.I. and Warrior. Early life. Bisping was born on a British military base in Nicosia, Cyprus. He is one of 5 children born to Jan Conrad Bisping and Kathleen, née Armitage, Bisping 9 and grew up in Clitheroe, Lancashire. 10 He attended St. Augustine's Roman Catholic High School, Billington. 11. Michael's Polish paternal grandfather, Andrew, Andrzej Bobola Bisping von Galen, was born in what is now Masliany, Byrastovice Rayon, Hrodny Oblasts, Belarus, descended from German nobility who moved to Poland in the Middle Ages and was a member of the noble Polish Zamoyski family, through his mother, while Michael's English paternal grandmother, Mary Greenwood, was from Clitheroe. 1213. Andrzej Bobola Bisping von Galen fled with his family from Poland to England after the Soviet invasion in September 1939. Many members of the noble families were pursued and executed by Soviet Red Army during World War II, including Andrew's father, Jan 13, who was named after his own grandfather. Andrew's father served in the British Army. 14 Michael's mother is from Northern Ireland. 12 Bisping has described himself as English through and through. 15 He began training jiu-jitsu at the age of 8. In 1994, at the age of 15, he competed as an amateur in Britain's first no-holds-barred competition, a precursor to modern MMA, called Knockdown Sport Budo, KSBO. 16 Growing up, Bisping was inspired by Belgian martial artist and actor Jean-Claude Van Damme, who he credits as a major inspiration for sparking his interest in martial arts. 17. At the age of 18, Bisping decided to abandon his martial arts training to pursue real life. 18 Less than a year later, Bisping began training in boxing, kickboxing, and karate on the advice of Alan Clarkin, owner of Black Knights Kickboxing, who saw potential in him. Bisping enjoyed a short but successful kickboxing career, winning the Northwest Area title and later the Pro British Light Heavyweight Kickboxing title. 16. After again briefly quitting competition in 1998, Bisping returned to kickboxing to take the Pro British Light Heavyweight title for a second time. Soon after winning his second kickboxing title, he was forced to abandon his full-time training for a real job. In addition to working at factories, slaughterhouses, and demolition companies, he was also an upholsterer, postman, tiler, plasterer, and salesman. 19 In 2001, Bisping served a 28-day sentence in home prison Preston after pleading guilty to a public order offense following a pub brawl. 20. Mixed martial arts career. Early career. Bisping made his professional mixed martial arts debut at Pride and Glory 2, Battle of the Ages on April 4, 2004, taking a 0-38 submission victory over Steve Matthews. Just 1 month later, Bisping scored his first knockout against John Weir at UK MMA Challenge 7, Rage and Fury. In his third MMA match, Bisping was scheduled to face the experienced Renato Sobral at Cage Rage 7, but his opponent pulled out 10 days before the event. Instead, Bisping defeated Mark Epstein by technical knockout and became the Cage Rage light heavyweight champion. Bisping went on to defend his championship title in a rematch against Epstein at Cage Rage 9 in a knockout victory that solidified Bisping as one of the top light heavyweight fighters in England. It also earned him the moniker The Great British Hope by UFC.com. 21. At the Ultimate Fight Club UK, Natural Instinct on January 29, 2005, Bisping made his cage kickboxing debut against David Brown in a light heavyweight contest. 22 With Brown badly cut, Bisping picked up the win via doctor stoppage in round 2. Bisping made his debut for the promotion at Ultimate Force on April 30, 2005, defeating Dave Radford to win the vacant Cage Warriors light heavyweight title. Bisping then competed in another light heavyweight cage kickboxing contest, against Cyril Diabate at CWFC, Strikeforce 1 on May 21, 2005, losing via decision after the end of the first extra round. He captured the xXx light heavyweight title on June 18, 2005 and, for a time, reigned over the UK's major federations. In his first Cage Warriors title defense, Bisping defeated Mika Mehmet at CWFC, Strikeforce 2, on July 16, 2005. 23. In September 2005, Cage Rage stripped the light heavyweight title from Bisping due to management issues. 24 Though Cage Warriors stated that Bisping was willing to defend his title but is being punished by Cage Rage due to his Wolf's Lair and Cage Warriors links. 25 Towards the end of 2005, Bisping again successfully defended the Cage Warriors title, this time against Jacob Lovestad 26 and Ross Poynton in the CWFC, Strikeforce series of events, leading to a record of 10 wins and no losses. 27. The Ultimate Fighter 3. Bisping in 2007. In early 2006, Bisping was featured on the UFC's The Ultimate Fighter 3 reality television series as a contestant training under Tito Ortiz. He won a preliminary bout against Christian Rothaermel by TKO, followed by a semi-final win against Ross Poynton by submission after landing a flying knee and a series of strikes. In the finals, Bisping finished Josh Haynes by TKO at 4:14 into the second round, making Bisping the second light heavyweight winner of the Ultimate Fighter television series. 28-29. Ultimate Fighting Championship. 5 months after his victory in the TUF3 finals, Bisping was slated to fight Eric Schaefer at the Ultimate Fighter 4 finale, but withdrew because of problems acquiring his visa. 30 The fight was rescheduled and held on December 30 at UFC 66. Bisping defeated Schaefer by TKO at 4:24 in the first round. 31. On April 21, 2007, Bisping scored a TKO win over Elvis Sinisic at UFC 70 in Manchester, England. 32. Bisping was a special guest referee at the Cage Warriors events Enter the Wolf's Lair on March 5, 2005 and CWFC, Strikeforce 6 on May 27, 2006. 33. On September 8, 2007, Bisping faced former Ultimate Fighter 3 rival Matt Hamill in London, England. Bisping won the fight by split decision. The decision was controversial with many believing Hamill won the fight. 34-35. Bisping's next match at UFC 78 against fellow Ultimate Fighter winner Rashad Evans resulted in his first loss, via a split decision. 36. Moved down to middleweight. Bisping, left, and Dennis Kong at the weigh-ins for UFC 105. Since the start of his MMA career, people had been advising that Bisping was undersized for the light heavyweight division and would do better at middleweight. With the support of UFC President Dana White, Bisping decided to drop down a weight division, following his loss to Evans. 37. On April 19, 2008 at UFC 83, Bisping made his middleweight debut against Charles McCarthy. Bisping won by TKO, as McCarthy was unable to continue after the first round due to a forearm injury he sustained after receiving an unanswered series of knees and uppercuts from Bisping. 38. Bisping's next fight was scheduled to be on June 7, 2008 at UFC 85 in London, against Chris Laban. However, after Laban was sentenced to jail for 35 days and unable to compete, Jason Day stepped in. 39. Bisping won the fight in dominant fashion by first-round TKO, it was his second first-round TKO in a row. Citation needed. Bisping instead fought Laban in the headliner of UFC 89 on 18 October 2008 39 and won by unanimous decision. 40. After the fight, Laban tested positive for stanozolol and was suspended for 9 months. 41-42. Bisping was confirmed as one of the coaches on the 9th season of The Ultimate Fighter. 43-44. The other coach was the former Pride 205 pounds and 185 pounds champion Dan Henderson. After the show's conclusion, Bisping fought Henderson at UFC 100 on July 11, 2009 at Mandalay Bay. 45. The fight was believed to be an eliminator for the UFC middleweight championship top contender spot. Bisping was knocked out by Henderson with an overhand right while he was circling to his left. Henderson followed up with a strike after Bisping had fallen to the ground before the fight was stopped. It was Bisping's first knockout loss. 46. Bisping could not remember the fight after the knockout, thinking that the fight was scheduled to take place 2 months later. 47. I fought Dan Henderson in 2009 and I lost, and that was at UFC 100. UFC 100 was the biggest pay-per-view the company's ever done. 1.6 million pay-per-view buys, watched all over the world, and of course, I get knocked out cold after talking lots of smack leading up to the fight. So I got my just desserts sick in that one. After the fight, I don't remember anything. I remember being in the showers and I didn't have a clue what was going on. I was saying to my manager at the time, I can't be knocked out cause I'm not fighting for another 2 months, what the hell are you talking about? And then these people come and go, Michael, we need to take you to the hospital. I'm like, I'm not going to the hospital, and then I'd say again, what's going on? I'd just keep repeating myself. 47. Bisping faced Spirit MC and Pride veteran Dennis Kong at UFC 105 on November 14, 2009. 48. Bisping won by second round TKO. 49. The fight was awarded Fight of the Night, giving both Kong and Bisping a $40,000 bonus. 50. Bisping next faced former Pride middleweight champion Wanderlei Silva at UFC 110 on February 21, 2010. 51. Silva won via unanimous decision. 52-53. Bisping defeated Dan Miller by unanimous decision on May 29, 2010 at UFC 114. 54. Bisping faced and defeated Yoshihiro Akiyama on October 16, 2010 at UFC 120, winning 30-27 on all 3 judges' scorecards. 55. Though Bisping was rocked early in the fight by Akiyama, he regained his composure and landed combinations repeatedly on Akiyama to sweep all 3 judges' scorecards. 56. The fight was awarded Fight of the Night award. 57. Bisping faced off in an emotionally charged fight against Jorge Rivera on February 26, 2011 at UFC 127. Both fighters had trash-talked each other before the fight and were restrained at the weigh-in during a verbal argument. Bisping dominated the first round, scoring a few takedowns until he delivered an illegal knee to the head of Rivera. A point was taken from Bisping and, after a lengthy halt to the action, the fight continued.